What's up, my fellow vapors? Scott with the Vaping Budget here today. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you guys how to rebuild your OCC coils in your Kanger Subtank. So if you got a Subtank and want to know how to rebuild your OCC coils, stay tuned because I'm going to show you. Welcome back, mates, to this Tech Tip Thursday? Tech Tuesday? Tech Thursday. I don't know. So I'm going to show you guys how to rebuild the OCC coil in your sub tanks today. With this build, you guys can go any way you want with it. We're going to use 26 gauge. I'm going to go right around 0.6, 0.7 on it because that's kind of where I like to have my vape at. But you can go 26, 24, you can do 28, whatever Kanthal wire you guys want to use and whatever ohms you want to achieve, go ahead, go for it in this. I've built it all the way down to 0.4 and built it all the way up to 0.8, and I like the build that we're going to build today. So you guys can take this and run with it any way you like. So without further ado, let's jump down, dive down, go up close with the OCC coil and show you guys how to rebuild this baby. Alright guys, we're up close and going to show you guys how to rebuild this OCC coil. Now with this build today that we're doing, we're going to be using a 2mm micro screwdriver. You guys can use whatever you want, equivalent in a drill bit, yada yada yada, whatever you guys like to build on, but that's what we're using today. We're using, like I said, 26 gauge Kanthal wire from atomizerwick.com, and also we're using some unbleached and boiled organic cotton from atomizerwick.com right here. This is some great stuff. Wick's good. I love using it. I call it raw cotton is what I call it because it still has, you guys can see, still has some of the seeds and bits in there you kind of need to pick out, but it wicks awesome. But you guys can use whatever you want in this build. You can use some Japanese cotton, just trim it up to fit in there. Organic cotton balls, whatever you want, just kind of do your own thing with this build. I'm just going to show you in this video how I rebuild the coil itself. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to be shooting for right around 0.6, 0.7 ohms. I don't know exactly where we're going to come out at, but I've done this build before. We came out right around a 0.6. It seems to me like each one I do changes a little bit, so we'll find out once we get this build done. But definitely, you guys can use 24 gauge. I found best when I go with a 24 gauge to go up to a 3mm micro screwdriver. It barely fits in the side of the coil. I'll show you guys here in a minute once we tear that coil apart. But or a 2.5mm. I guess the only thing I'm trying to emphasize here is you guys can customize this build to however you guys like to vape. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive up close. We'll zoom in here a little bit and show you guys how to take apart this OCC coil. All right, guys, we're zoomed up a little closer here. Show you guys how to tear this OCC coil apart. And this is one I have rebuilt that's in here now. I had this video shot and accidentally deleted it, so here I am shooting it again. So, but taking this coil apart is going to be the same whether it has been rebuilt or not. So, first thing you guys need to do is just take out that pin right there on the bottom. Pops right out. And then this rubber insulator here, just go ahead and pop it out too. Just like that. And then I just grab a hold of coil and pull it out. The factory coil that comes in here, you're probably going to have to grab a pair of pliers to get it out of there. Alright guys, and there you go. That's basically the three pieces of your OCC coil. You got the positive pin that goes in the bottom, your rubber insulator, and then your coil housing right here, your coil head. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, I just want to show you guys, if you do a 24 gauge build and want to go with a 3mm screwdriver, it fits in here real nice and tight. I want to show you that while we're up in the close-up. Like I said, today we're going to be using a 2mm screwdriver, and that is a little bit looser in there, but I just like the way the 2mm with a 26 gauge vape, so that's what we're going to be building today. But when starting your coil, you want to make sure you leave at least an inch, inch and a half out here so you can get it down through the coil head. Makes it a lot easier on yourself. Just go ahead and start your first wrap here. Now these don't have to be real tight together like you would with a micro coil. And I'll show you guys once I get the wraps done here. We got, what's that, 3, 4, and we're going to go 5 wraps. Just like that, and I hope I got that in the video because I was not watching. It's hard to watch the video screen and do something down below. So, alright, then all you have to do is see, we got our wraps. Let me get up close here, get this to zoom. Just like that, guys. It does not have to be perfect, and you can take it and scrunch your coil down just a little bit there. About like that is about perfect. So right now we'll go ahead and we'll just trim the other end here off real quick, like so. And then what I like to do is turn the coil over and kind of push it up against the other side, straighten up that other end if I can get it on there, and see how that other end, let's wait till it for zoom, and see how that other end kind of sticks out a little bit there. If you take that and then push that side over against your screwdriver and then just bend it in a little bit, just like that. Okay, so we wrap the coil with the coil this way and then turned it over and pushed it up against there, so that way we have both of our leads coming out just like that. Alright, when we insert this into the atomizer head, I like to bend one end over just like that. Makes it a lot easier when you're inserting that into the coil head, just like this. Voila! See how easy that was? Went right in. So just a little trick there for you guys, a little tip. So now that your coil is in there, you want to go through this side, through the coil, and out the other side, so it holds your coil in place while we attach the wires on the bottom. So just kind of look down in there, and oops, I almost dropped the coil at the bottom. It's a little tricky to get it lined up, but there we go, we got it. Let me get a close-up of that for you guys. See that there? How the screwdriver goes through the coil and out each end. That's what you want. It'll help hold your coil in place while we attach the bottom. Alright guys, now that we have the screwdriver through the coil and through the atomizer head here, we'll go ahead and take one of these leads and bend it all the way over, just like that. And that'll be our negative lead. And then we'll take the little rubber insulator here and go through, have our positive, which is the one we still have coming out of the coil, go through the center of this insulator, and then just put that back into the base of the OCC coil, just like that. We have one wire coming out the outside of it and one wire coming up through the middle, just like that. Alright, we have our negative bent over and attached. We just need to take our positive and just bend it over just like we did the other one. Grab our pin here and insert the pin in the bottom, just like that. There we go. We got one on the inside of the insulator and one on the outside. So alright guys, now we have our leads attached. All we have to do is trim them off, and you want these trimmed very, very close. Go ahead and trim our negative. The other side. And we'll trim up our positive. And as you can see there, I kind of pulled that up just a little bit so I could get that trimmed down. So now we have both of our leads trimmed off. All we need to do is, what I like to do is take the coil head just like this and press it down against the table. And that just pushes that center post and gets them leads attached in there just like that. That's kind of what you want. Now if you rub along the side and you can feel that a little bit of wire hanging out, you need to come back in and trim that up a little bit. So that one I can feel right there. The positive's good, but I need to trim up that negative just a little bit more. That's right, so we'll just come back into the coil here, get the corner of our little snippers in there, and just snip that wire up just a little bit more. And now I can't feel that. Now the reason you want to make sure those are trimmed up really nice and tight to the coil head is when you go into here, if you can feel those catching when you go into the base of the tank here, you want to go back in and trim those up, because you will get a short no matter what gauge you're using, 26, 24. I found out 24 is the hardest to get that trimmed up in there and not show up as a short. So if you go in to the base of your tank like I'm showing you guys here and you feel that wire catching, you need to make sure you trim that off, because you can short out. So alright, and I'm going to show you guys when we take this out and pull your screwdriver out and see your coil is down in there. When you come back in and straighten it up, we want to go ahead and get the cotton through there first. Sorry guys, the amount of cotton you're going to use just really depends on what size of coil you build in there. My recommendation to you guys is go through the coil, make sure it's taut but not too tight. Go ahead and take your cotton, make a little point there, and then go through the coil, out the other side. And see, when I'm pulling this through, if I feel it hanging up in there like I am right now, I'll just pull back, hold this, and just kind of pull on this cotton, kind of stretch it out a little bit, and it'll help thin that cotton out a little bit. And I'll pull it through a little bit more, come back through, just like that. Voila! Now before we get too carried away, we'll go ahead and check our ohms, huh? I forgot to do that before we put the cotton in there. Let's see where we came out at, 0.7. So kind of right in there, 0.6, 0.7 where I wanted to be, so perfect. Okay, so what I like to do before I trim my cotton here is come back in here and make sure that coil is in the middle of the atomizer head there, just like, I don't know if you guys can see that in the video. It's pretty much centered right there. And then we come back in here with our scissors, take the coil head back off the deck, and you want to trim this up as close as you can get it. What I like to do is trim one side, pull that cotton just a little bit, just like that. See how it's there, kind of pulled it in a little bit, and then trim the other side here. Just like that, guys. There's your rebuilt OCC coil. And like I said, if you want to get down to 0.5 or 0.6 or even lower on your ohms, just go ahead and use a 24 gauge. I found the 24 gauge wrapped around a 3mm screwdriver, 5 wraps, I think will get us right there, close around 0.5. So, alright guys, we got our coil built. Now all we need to do is put a few drops on here, get our coil saturated just a little bit. I just like to put a drop or two down in there like it recommends, helps out, and then you don't have to wait so long for it to get all wicked up. So there we go. All we got to do is throw it in the base, put it back on our tank. Alright guys, back up to FaceTime. Let's give this baby a vape and see how we did. Alright guys, we're back up. Whoa, I got zoomed out a lot. Back in a little bit. There we go. Alright, there we go. I got on top of the K-box. Got the review coming up soon for you guys. Gave it 5 minutes or so to make sure it got all good and wicked up. So let's give it a vape. We're going to vape this at 30 watts right off the bat. Here we go. Ha ha! Check that out. So I guess we did pretty good. Nice vapor production. Flavor's really great out of it, and that's at 30 watts. Let's we'll go ahead and jump back down. We'll jump down to let's go 20 watts. Nice vapor. So there you guys go. That's how to rebuild your OCC coils in your Kanger Subtanks, the Nano or the Mini. Same build goes. Like I said, you guys can go 24, you get your ohms wherever you want on this. Have fun with the build. Now a lot of you guys might be asking, why would you rebuild the OCC coil when it comes with the rebuildable atomizer? Well, one reason is with the OCC coil in there, you can put 6 mils versus 4.2 with the rebuildable atomizer. So you can get an extra 1.5 mils or so in there, which is kind of nice. And also, it's nice to have a backup coil. If your rebuildable goes out on you or something happens to it while you're out of the way, it'd be nice to have a backup one of your OCC coils on hand so you're not freaking out and wondering what to do. So there you go. That's how you rebuild the OCC coil in the Kanger Subtank. Or at least that's how I rebuild them. Have an awesome day, guys. And as always, remember to live and let live. Have fun living your life and have fun watching people live theirs. Just sit back and blow clouds and laugh.